Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion of the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may just give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Four of Pentacles. And it is here because it corresponds in astrology with the last 10 days, or the third decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign. Pentacles and Tarot are earth element symbolism. And earth element symbolism really has to do with the physical resources you have and what you're willing to do with them to create a sense of abundance, stability, and support in your life. So we come to the Four of Pentacles. And, you take a look at this picture. I love this. I love this guy right here. Obviously, he's got his mind on his money and his money on his mind. The material resources are very important, and he wants to hold on to as much of it as he can. And I see the crown on his head, and I think, having all that money, sort of stashed away, maybe he's keeping some in his hat, some in his vest pocket. He's walking around on some expensive shoes, or he's got some money in there, right? Having all of that dough, or really having all of that just material resource around him, feels really good to him. It makes him feel like a king, as indicated by that crown. He's not a king, right? But it makes him feel like he has mastery of something, right? So, with this card comes, the idea of being conservative with our resources, and by being conservative, finding some sort of sense of security when it comes to those material resources. And, it also comes with this sort of idea about being frugal, pinching our pennies a little bit, holding back, not spending what everything that we would like to spend, not buying everything we would like to get, but actually, how do I say it? Actually just holding on to what we've got in terms of financial resources. It can also be about conserving our bodies and our health. A lot of people are working on that right now. The virus problem is still very much a problem out there in the world. If you are, noticing that more people are getting sick, because definitely more people have been sick, it doesn't hurt to put on a mask when you go out there. Do what you can to conserve your physical resources, your personal health and well-being, okay? And do what you can to protect your families. That's also part of your physical resource. But generally, when this card comes up in a reading, it indicates that, maybe somebody's had an accumulation of wealth, and, we tend to be protective of what we have earned. So, we have to remember that being conservative is good for our sense of stability. It's good for our sense of support. It's good for helping us feel secure in the world. But it will be important not to be stingy about it, okay? First of all, I've heard all kind of stories in my life about people who they earn a lot of material resource, they earn a lot of money, they do really well for themselves, but they still go without things that they need because they feel like they have to hold on to the money, right? So for one thing, I had that Five of Pentacles the other day, don't go without, all right? Something that you need, especially if you have plenty of money to get it, go ahead and get it, all right? Don't go without something, that is necessary to your well-being. If you need just thinking here, just if you need a new bed, or if you need, to get some better groceries in your house, or if you need a new pair of shoes, a shinier hat, don't hold back. And also, if you're in a position where you have good resources, always share. If there's somebody that is going without, you want to make sure that you're sharing what you have with them. And that doesn't mean that you have to be a pushover and give everything that you've earned to somebody else. It just means that, this money is really not any good for you, any good to you or anybody sort of sitting in a bank account. So unless you have a plan for a plan for it, perhaps make a plan to spread it around a little bit and enrich the people around you. With that said, oh, we got the 10 of Pentacles. Now that's exciting. Earth and earth, earth and earth. Very nice. 10 of Pentacles is that ultimate expression of material security, right? So we've looked at this card a lot. I like to think of the person in the center as being sort of the subject of the card. And it looks to me like they have just maybe arrived home. It's a nice home. There's a garden wall here. There's trees. There's blue sky out there. There's lots of windows. That's an expensive home. Windows cost money. And it looks like they're maybe meeting their spouse and their child. There are a couple of dogs here that indicate the fidelity of family. And there's an elder here too that also indicates sort of the fidelity and the wisdom that comes with keeping family around us, right? So the 10 of Pentacles reminds us that, you can get all the money in the world through dedication, through planning, through hard work. That's what Capricorn is all about. Capricorn says, okay, I have this plan, I have this goal, and if I work really hard, if I give my blood, sweat, and tears to it, if I remain dedicated to it, if I remain constant to this thing that I want, then I will have this ultimate expression of security, right? But see, this person thinks this is the ultimate expression of security, and this person has actually found it. And part of that is that it's not all about the person in the middle of the card, right? That constance, that dedication, it's not just to the principle of earning money, but it's also to the principle of stabilizing, balancing our relationships with the people around us, getting the benefit of those relationships, remaining loyal and dedicated to those relationships. In our work to support ourselves, we support our family, our loved ones, our pets. We try to have a nice home for ourselves. The pentacles in this make a Venus sort of shape. So it's very much about what we value. And, there's nothing wrong with valuing having a lot of money. And there's nothing wrong with valuing having a big fancy house, right? But, what good are those things, again, to us if we don't also have family around us to support us morally, if we don't also, remain constant and dedicated to our families. And I love the way in this picture, the elder has a star on their shoulder, a pentacle on their shoulder, and all these little sort of bright stars here. And to me, that indicates sort of the wisdom of our elders, right? It takes wisdom to grow security. It takes wisdom to grow something that will have value for you. And, we learn that wisdom hopefully from the people who came before us in our lives. If we're lucky, we got to have somebody in our lives that helped us learn a little bit about that dedication, that loyalty, that steadfastness, that willingness to work to get to this point of security, which is not necessarily just about money, but is also about the relationships that we maintain. So where do we see this on the page? Well, we have a lot of Earth action on the page today. Actually, there's a grand trine here between Moon, Mercury, and Uranus, which is conjunct to the North Node, okay? So Uranus brings about exciting changes, and the North Node is about our trajectory. So I know a lot of us have been feeling somewhat aimless, not very clear on what the trajectory is, not very clear on what the future is. We think we'd like to go one way, but we see that things might go another way. And it's in Taurus. Taurus is our fixed Earth sign. It's about drawing in the stuff and things that we value, including our family, including our relationships, and holding it in a stable space, holding it in an established space. Okay, so this is what we're after. And also, the future may seem a little bit uncertain, but Uranus is a bringer of like pleasant surprises. It opens up our perspective. It gives us new technology and new ways of seeing things. Mercury is here in Capricorn. That's our cardinal air sign. It's about getting started on something that will eventually bring value and stability to our lives. And the moon is up here in Virgo. That's our mutable earth sign. That's about sort of like dispersing, spending the money that you need to spend, putting in the labor that you need to put in to solve problems, to make things secure, feel secure and stable rather than, in question. So, we're in this really beautiful triple trine condition here with these planets right now. And it's a good time, Moon trying to Mercury, to talk with our loved ones, to discuss our relationships, to have personal conversations, to bring up memories of the way things have been. But also, Moon trying to Uranus and Mercury trying to Uranus are both saying, yeah, but we're kind of bored with the ordinary way of doing things, or maybe we're looking back on the way we have been doing things and seeing that they don't work, and we're open to a new perspective. We're looking to change the way we go about doing these things so that we can move forward with more positivity and with less trouble. So especially if there's somebody that you're close to, somebody in your family or a loved one to you, who, you maybe been having a little bit of a struggle with, it's a good day to have a conversation with them. It's a good way to ask them if there's anything that you can do to help them. Mercury square Chiron is kind of in a don't tell me what to do sort of way of being today. So, we're not very much open to other people's suggestions, but that doesn't mean we can't be, as to how we should go about doing things. But but if we do open ourselves up, we can ask the question, like, what can I do to help you? What can I do to be supportive of you? What can I do to help you feel like you are standing on a solid footing right here with me? Okay, it's a good question to ask. Don't tell me what to do, but, go ahead and ask the question, what can you do to help somebody else today? Tomorrow Mars is going to go direct. So ever since, especially right around the full moon in Cancer that we had this past week, was it on Friday or Saturday? There was a big buildup of tension that day, and actually some stuff went down in my workplace. We might have seen some shifts in the demeanor of some of the people around us, and ever since then, it's just been this sort of tense, frustrated vibe. And I really think it's because we're coming to the end of the Mars retrograde. Tomorrow, Mars will go direct, and we'll feel a little bit of an easing up on that sense of frustration, because, when Mars is retrograde, it just feels like everything we do, we have to maybe try it twice, or again and again, or we might have to come with a couple of different ideas how things might get done. We have to ask people for help, and Mars doesn't really always like to ask for help, So when we get released from that after 3 months of being in that sort of frustrated zone, we can kind of feel it coming, that it's gone stationary. Mars is just kind of sitting still in the sky right now, and then tomorrow it's going to start moving in the other direction again, moving forward. And that's our sense of initiative, our sense of momentum, our ability to move, our ability to act, sort of being given the green light. It's been like this feeling right now is a little bit like, revving your engine at the light, knowing it's about to turn green, right? So the green light is coming. And in the meantime, it's a good time to be sort of discussing what we can do to support one another, what we can do to, be good family, good friends to one another, and, looking for new ways to relate to one another that, don't drag us back into old habits that make us feel separated. And, bringing these together, and I've already said this, like, this person thinks that they've got security because they're holding on to the wealth that they've gained. but this person has the ultimate expressions of security, not just because they have earned money or, gained status or been able to purchase a big, nice house, but because they have maintained good relationships, right? That means they're spreading that resource around. They're making it available to other people. They're making sure more people than just themselves are supported by it, right? And that's not just with the money that we earn, but it is with the dedication that we show, the constancy we show, the loyalty we show to the people around us, the wisdom we bring to our relationships, where we listen as much as we talk, at least. Okay, Mercury's still retrograde, so we want to listen. We want to hear we want to really try to hear what the other person is saying when we ask them what we can do for them. We want to really try to see what the other person's needs are, so that we can show our loyalty and show them that we have their back. So, 4 is not the loneliest number, but, this person could probably do a little bit better with their resources and probably feel a little bit more like a king rather than just wearing a hat, that looks like a king. Probably they would feel more enriched and stable and supported if they invested more in their relationships to their loved ones, and in creating like happy, balanced, bonded, established behavior there. This is funny. This person's face on this card looks a little bit like that Bitcoin trader that got arrested. I can't remember his name exactly right now, but he looks a little bit like that. And that's kind of what that makes me think of, is like, basically what they say is that all of the money that the investors were sending in, he was basically using these billions of dollars as his own bank account. He was just, using all that money, all of that resource, all of that goodwill, all of that, everything he did was just about keeping the money that came his way and using it the way he wanted to, so that he could live like a little king. But he was really on his own, separated from his family. He had to move off to the islands, to try to avoid extradition. I guess that's where his company was based, because, the laws are not as strict there around what he does. But let's not be stingy with our resources, okay? When we're stingy with our resources, it can be a pretty lonely life. When we're stingy with our resources, we show a lot of dedication to ourselves and our ability to make money, our ability to, we show a lot of dedication to our ability to have the nice things that we want. But those nice things really, in the long run, aren't going to be worth a damn to us if there's nobody there to share it with us, nobody there to appreciate what we have provided, nobody there to help provide for us in our stability, right? Because when we're working hard and we're earning a lot of money and we're, very dedicated to a certain cause, we need support. We need the moral support. We need the loving support. We need, people who are going to worry about whether we have eaten or slept or, otherwise taken care of ourselves. This person's got nobody to look out for him, right? But himself and his bank account. So, I think that's the lesson there. When you have this kind of money, this says be conservative, but don't be stingy. And this says invest in relationships, right? Invest in having a home life that is something you want to come home to and celebrate. This is the difference between, just buying a bunch of plants because you think they look pretty, and actually having the wisdom to grow them into something of value. Now, I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.